Kidnapping a drug dealer is not something I would often recommend to most people. But when you're Rag Reynolds, you can do whatever the hell you please. You can do what you want without fear of repercussions. You can do what you want without fear of death. That is because I am so capable of handling anything life throws at me. And so when I tell you that I accidentally kidnapped a drug dealer, I don't want you people to worry. Earlier this year, I was having a rather boozy evening, okay? I was having a little boozy evening. I was out with people, had a good time, but I didn't want to go home just yet when everyone else did. And so I sauntered around and I almost went into a club. But the people at the door of the club said I had had too much to drink. A ridiculous notion, I know. You wouldn't think that I would ever be a man who's had too much to drink. Is there such a thing? Can a Scotsman truly have too much to drink? Ridiculous. I could still walk. I could still speak. I think that means I was perfectly fine. Anyway, they wouldn't let me in. I thought I was being smart, so I walked ahead. I tried to circle back around because there was another guy, and I thought maybe he'll let me in. But the other guy saw me. He was like, "No, I told you you're not allowed in." I was like, "Oh, fine." And so I was ready to walk away when this man approached me. And I say man, but I don't know, he was probably 20 or something. And he approached me, and he said, "Hey, you're not allowed in either." I went, "No." "Well, why?" And he went, "Because they're not letting me in." I was like, "Oh, why are they not letting you in? That's terrible." And he said, "Because I'm wearing a tracksuit." And so I look at this guy. He's just this skinny little guy standing there, and he's wearing a tracksuit, all right. And I went, "That's a tracksuit." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm wearing a tracksuit." I'm like, "Cool." Meanwhile, I'm standing there in a suit. Me and my infinite wisdom, I say, "Well, hey, new buddy, new pal. I am actually, I just live nearby, a couple of minutes walk away. Why don't you come for a drink?" And he said, "That sounds like a great idea. Let's go together. They're rejected from the bar people. They're rejected from the club guys." So we go walking over and we take the walk to my place. We go in, we sit down, I grab some whiskey, I pour some drinks. And he pulls out a bag from his deep pocket. I don't know how deep this pocket was. I feel like maybe it was like Mary Poppins' bag, and it just goes forever. That's the impression I got with his pockets. And he pulls out this huge bag, dumps it on the table, and it's pills, white pills. And he says, "I'm a drug dealer. Do you want something?" I was like, "Oh, a drug dealer. Lovely." And me being in my infinitely great state of mind, being so drunk, I say, "I'm not sure." And he goes, "Oh, come on, let's do something." And so he takes out these little pills, and they were ecstasy pills, and he puts them on the table. And I'm like, "Well, I will take one, but only if you take it first, motherfucker." And I did say motherfucker. I said some mean things to him. He's like, "Oh, it's okay. Would you really think I would do that to you? Do you think I'm going to give you something bad?" I was like, "Well, maybe. I don't know you. I don't even know your name." He's like, "Oh, my name's William." I went, "Oh, well, hi, William. I don't know what you would fucking do. You could be a little junkie scumbag. I don't know. You might be trying to pull a fast one. You did come back to my flat really quick. Like, we just met and you're already in my flat and you're trying to now give me something. Like, they're like I'm feeling a little bit weird here. So you're gonna take it first." And he went, "Oh, I don't really want to take one. I've already taken some tonight." And so I slid it across the table and went, "Fucking take it, because I'm not taking it until you fucking take it." And so he took it. And I waited maybe 20 minutes after that, and then I took one. All the while, folks, this was happening, I had loaded up a Discord call on my phone, and so I sat my phone at the other side of the room, and I'm talking to a bunch of friends from overseas, from the United States, some from Europe, all over the place. They're all in this Discord call, and they're starting to get a little bit concerned, so they're like, maybe someone should go check up on this situation. So they start contacting my sister who lives nearby, and they're like, do you maybe want to go check up on Ryan? Do you want to maybe go check up on what's going on here? And so she comes along, and so she comes and she sits down. And she comes in, and suddenly William, this drug dealer, starts hitting on my poor sister. But she's not interested. A few minutes later, he's like, I think I'm going to go get a drink round at a bar around the corner. I'm going to this bar. And I'm like, no the fuck you're not. You're going to stay there until that thing we both took kicks in. Because I am not dying here alone. I will die with you, but I am not dying alone. If I'm dying, you're fucking dying. Sure enough, a little bit of time passes, and you can see the effect of his thing. His jaw starts swinging. I didn't feel anything. I'm a big guy. I've got a big high tolerance. I didn't feel a thing. I didn't feel anything. I just felt drunk because I was already very, very drunk, and that's all I felt. Anyway, at this point, he's still trying to leave. He's like, I want to leave now. I'm like, just stay. We're friends now. Why'd you want to leave? Stay. Have another drink. He's desperate to leave and go have a drink somewhere else. But I'm like, no, you're not fucking leaving. You're staying here. And I didn't mean it to be aggressive. And it wasn't till the next day when my friends told me, oh no, he really wanted to fucking leave. He was desperate to get out of there, but you wouldn't let him leave. It wasn't until my friends told me that I actually realized that was maybe scaring the drug dealer a little bit. He was continuing to try and hit on my sister. And he was, at one point, he was like standing over next to her. He's like, I used to be a boxer. And I took that as an invitation. I was almost laughing because this little puny guy standing there. I went, a boxer, huh? I was like, come on then, let's see. So I stood up and he was like, what are you doing? I was like, just try and stop me. And all I did was I just stepped in and I threw him on the ground and then I choked him. And I was like, well, your boxing is fucking useless. Meanwhile, my Discord friends are starting to spread the rumor that I've been naked wrestling with the poor drug dealer I just kidnapped named William. So from there, William continues to try and want to leave. He's desperate to leave my flat. And I'm starting to think, okay, maybe I'll let him go. And my sister's like, yeah, we should just let him go. I'm like, okay, maybe. And so I'm like, but hey, get me your phone number and so we can be friends and so I can talk to you again in the future. And he's like, oh, I don't have a phone. I don't want to do that. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, come on, why won't you give me your number? And so eventually he writes down a number. My sister says she thought it was fake. I don't know if it was. She threw the number away while I was sleeping that night. And then he asks, can I borrow your phone to call my mum? And I'm like, what? And eventually my sister didn't let him use the phone, but she actually called William's mother on her phone, spoke to his mother briefly, and then ended the call. There was then a mix-up later that I'm not sure exactly we ever got a conclusion to, but I believe it was said that William was actually supposed to have a curfew and he was like tagged or something and he was supposed to be at home because he was just out of jail. I'm pretty sure he said something about that. He had just been in jail. Anyway, eventually William managed to get out from under my grasp, and I never heard from him ever again. It has been quite a while now since that happened, and so, I don't know. Maybe he died. Maybe he's in jail. Or maybe he just left town because he was terrified that Rag Reynolds would kidnap him again. Anyway, that's the story of the night I accidentally kidnapped a drug dealer. You're welcome.